Traders, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why working doesn't work. Or, in other words, why that 9 to 5 grind won't get you to that dream destination or goal if you're an ambitious person like me, and exactly why trading does work. Whether it's making an extra 10 grand a month, 80 grand a month, 100 grand a month, retiring your parents, quitting your job and going to some island to live forever, it doesn't matter what it is. I want to go over the 7 reasons why working doesn't work, but trading does. And the sixth step is the most powerful step out of all of 7. But step number 7 is the one step that if you don't do correctly, the other 6 steps won't matter. And in this video, at the end, you're going to be able to know exactly why working doesn't make sense to conquering those goals, those ambitious, time-oriented goals that you have for your life, and exactly how you can start being part of that winning team. But first, let's start with number 1, which is the 9 to 5 fallacy. So what is the 9 to 5 fallacy? A 9 to 5 fallacy is the belief that you have been taught that somehow if I keep getting more promotions at work or keep getting more bonuses or keep working harder at my job, that one day I will just keep moving up and up and up the corporate ladder to eventually become successful. Because I'm sure, once you start the job, you see the high rollers at your job roll in. They may be the sales manager, the managing director, whatever managing they have in front of another title. But understand, that's a fallacy that they have to keep you in that race of working. Because in reality, when you're working for somebody else, what do they want you to keep doing? If you're a great worker, they're going to want you to keep working hard. Why? Because they're not going to want to lose you. But on the same token, they want you to keep working hard. They don't want to lose you, so they're going to keep you there. You're not meant to have financial freedom or success when it comes to working a 9 to 5. Because if you are not providing enough value, you're gone. And if you are providing enough value, they're going to find incentives to keep you there. And they're going to keep you in that 9 to 5 fallacy that if you keep working hard, you're going to get a promotion. If you keep working hard, you're going to get a bonus, which is a token salary of the true value you bring to that company. Now, ask yourself this very important question. I love to walk through this very question with other traders, and I call it the millionaire test. With the money you make right now, add up the investments you make, add up the money you get on your job, add up the money that your baby mama, baby daddy, sugar daddy, whoever sends you, all of that money combined, will that make you $1 million this year? If that answer is no, then we got to change something up. If that answer is yes, but you want more, then guess what? We have to change something up. So first, working doesn't work to get you that goal dream because you're living that fallacy. What's number 2? Number 2 is the ceiling between time and money. What do I mean by ceiling in time and money? So we all know that when you work a job has what? A job is going to have job is going to have a salary. And I know that looks terrible for salary, but a job is going to have a salary. In other words, I'm going to make 60,000 a year, 100,000 a year, a million a year, 10 million a year. It doesn't matter what number it is, your potential is limited. Because no matter how hard you work, you may get a bonus, that's a token salary, but no matter how hard you work, you have a ceiling to the amount that you can make. In other words, you're capped. You're capped, you're hitting a limit. And the dangerous thing about hitting a ceiling, the ceiling is dangerous not because it's a low amount. I don't care if the ceiling is 100 million. It doesn't matter what it is. It's dangerous because it's a ceiling that mixes with time. And when you mix limited with limited, how can that possibly equal a lot of money or your desires, whatever it is happening in your lifetime? How is that possible? Because if we're exchanging the time we have on earth, and that time is a very limited resource, and we're exchanging that for an amount of money, and that amount of money is not unlimited. You don't have the potential to make 10 million in a year if your salary is 500,000. So if the ceiling is limited And the amount of time we have is limited because hopefully you don't want to work until the day you drop dead. Hopefully you want to actually be able to retire and enjoy life one day. So if these two things are limited, then how can you possibly acquire that? The answer is you won't be able to. And the answer is you're going to stay in step one and you're going to keep working, keep working, keep working. And over time, you're going to move up, move up, move up, make more, make more, make more. But guess what has passed you by is this. Why? Because you always had this. So as long as we have this ceiling, as long as we have this cap, as long as we are working a limited resource with another limited thing, how can we possibly create unlimited dreams in our life? It doesn't matter what that dream is. How can we get to that desired destination? How can we get to the point to where we don't even have to look at our phone for the next month if we don't want to? Travel to whatever it may be. How is that possible? So we went over a few ways why working just doesn't work, but what about the ways that trading does? And that's why I want to start with type 3, not type 3.3, which is how high is the moon? That's another question I love to phrase to traders, but really, how high is the moon? How high can you go? And the answer to that question is incredibly simple. The moon is very high. The moon is infinite. The moon is all the way up there. And the beautiful thing about reaching the moon is that you will go to heights that are further than you could have ever even imagined. So what do I mean by high is the moon? Why does that matter? It matters because of this. Trading offers a beautiful thing, and trading offers something called exponential. Now, what the heck is exponential? Exponential means that with trading, right? If you're doing it the right way, trading doesn't look like this, right? Trading is not necessarily a straight line. Now, it can be, it absolutely can be. Just like in all things you do, you can either be very good at it or you can be very bad at it. The choice is yours. But with trading, if it's done the right way, if you're improving, trading is not going to look like this flat line where the money that you're making 2 years from now can be the same money that you're making today, like it can be at your job because you have a ceiling. But with trading, the beautiful thing is it may start here, but then it goes exponential. Why does it go exponential? It's because of the idea that money creates money. So when I ask how high is the moon, I ask how high is the moon because I'm asking how high can you go? How high are you going to go? Because once you have what we're going to talk about in step 7, then you're going to have something that you can wash and repeat, so that this exponential phase that we see happening will continue to go higher and higher for you. And you won't fall into the trap of this guy over here. Now, what's this guy over here, right? What's the difference between here and the difference between here? Well, it's pretty evident. Here is going to be exponential. That's what we want. Why? Because with trading, let's just say you make 10% a year. Okay, you make 10% on $10,000 year one, 10% on 10,000, 10,001. I messed that up terribly. You make 10% on $11,000 year two, but the beautiful thing is it keeps going and it keeps compounding and it keeps compounding. That's why it is truly exponential what you can do in trading. You may have a month where you hit 2-3%. You may have a month where you hit 20%. There is no ceiling, there's no cap, and you're not bound by time when it comes to trading. So we're not bound by time. Boom. We're not bound by time, and we have no ceiling. So now we are no longer marrying a limited thing with another limited thing, hoping for unlimited results and success in our life. And that's the beautiful thing about trading. That's why how high is the moon is so important, because we're going exponential instead of staying stagnant. So Why is this important versus what I call flat with a bump? So, flat with a bump, this is literally going to be going back to number one, the 9 to 5 the 9 to 5 fallacy. I get excited. When I get excited, I start stuttering. So, what is this 9 to 5 fallacy? So, this 9 to 5 fallacy is literally saying this flatness here is our salary. So, our salary is going to be flat with the hope of a bump. That's why I say a salary is flat. A salary is flat with bumps. What does that mean? That means that this bump is going to be the thing that's going to keep you in the game working for someone else. And it's going to be shown in the form of promotions, bonuses, and working hard every single time. That's why asking yourself, how high is the moon, is so important, but not just how high it is. What does this moon, what does it look like to you? What does it look like? What does it look like when you get to that destination, when you arrive there? That's why working doesn't work, but trading does. It's exponential. What's part four? So you already know part one, two, three. So part one, okay, there's a fallacy behind working that if you work hard, that somehow you'll get rich. If you work hard, somehow your dreams will be accomplished. You've been learning that and been taught that ever since school. When you went to college or finished high school, the whole goal was to be able to finish there and go start and get a high paying job. Well, that's great, but it won't work. If you have dreams, if you're ambitious, it won't work. And then step two, now we understand there's a ceiling and there's time, and limited plus limited won't equal what you desire. And now we understand that with trading, the question is, how high is the moon? Because we're going exponential instead of being flat with a bump. Now, going over to step four. In step four, we start to get on what I like to call the very interesting side of this board, of this graph. And the reason why step four is so amazing is because with step four, we have something called efficiency. What is efficiency? What do I mean by the word efficiency when it comes to actually trading and trading working for you and not against you? So, on your job, I know there's times that you feel like you're just sitting around not doing anything at work. Your talents are being wasted. You could be a million other places, but instead, you're sitting behind that desk just wasting time. Why? Because there's a ceiling and you're exchanging your time for money. Step two. So, you're working, but you know that your work is not efficient. And not just that your work is not efficient, you know that the time that you are spending at work is being wasted. And here's the danger about wasting your time. And this is why step four is so amazing. The danger about wasting your time is that you're not just wasting your time at work, but you are literally wasting your life. Because think about it this way: you exchange your time for money when you're working. That's why there's a ceiling, that's why there's a cap. But we know from step three that there is no cap. And in fact, what we do in step three, what we do in trading, is exponential instead of being flat with bumps. So when we're going back over to step four, now we have something really interesting happening. And the thing that we have that's really interesting happening is that now we can have efficiency when we're actually trading in the market, when we're actually doing that thing that causes us to make money, which makes our desires come true. So we actually have that efficiency of time. So now we're not wasting life. Because believe it or not, when you sit around doing nothing, when you sit around, working and you're not efficiently maximizing your time, you're not just wasting your time, but you're wasting your life. So being able to be efficient in what you're doing, efficiency of time, efficiency so that no time is being wasted. Your life is not being wasted. Like we learned from number two, you don't get more time. That's why if you plan to stay at your job, then you can predict and count the amount of money you will be able to make in your life. And you have to ask yourself, do your dreams live up to that? Am I comfortable making that? And one other thing that is beautiful about step four that I absolutely love to talk to traders about is that when it comes to efficiency, it's being able to do not just work, but work that moves the needle in a certain span of time, being efficient with your time. And with trading, this can be amazing because if you are able to trade the correct way, then you do not have to spend hours on charts. And this is something that so many new traders that I talk to, this is something that they think you have to do, is spend hours behind a chart and spend hours and hours watching CNBC and all of this other stuff. And that's just not the case if you are able to efficiently trade the market. When you're working, efficiency is not even a name in the game. And most people, and I'm sure you can relate, have never even heard of efficiency when it comes to working. But let's move to step 5. We're progressing pretty well. So we already went over 4 ways so far. What's step number 5? Step 5 is going to be multiple streams. And multiple streams is so important because this is one way that wealthy people become very wealthy. And this is why trading is literally one of the greatest things to be able to make your work work. Because whether you're working a job or working in trading, you're working regardless. One works very well. The other one, right? But why do I say that? Because trading gives you the ability to be able to have an unlimited ceiling so that now you can invest in multiple streams of income. What does that look like? That can look like stocks. That can look like bonds. That can look like crypto. That can look like ETFs. That can look like stock options. That can look like commodity trading. That can look like so many things. So now, instead of relying on, let's write here, one source. And for most people, they only have one source of income. And that one source of income is going to come from their 9 to 5 in step 1. And when your one source of income comes from your 9 to 5 in step 1, well, guess what? Now you know how much money you're going to make until the day you die. There's a ceiling. Now you're dependent on that job and you have nowhere else to go. You can't leave. But say when you make $1 million from trading, well, great. Now I can put 200K of that into real estate. Great. Now I have passive income coming there. And now these buildings are appreciating over time. And I can withdraw that equity from that appreciation, put it in my pocket because it's going to be tax free in the form of a loan. And guess what? With that loan, I can go out and buy more real estate. And then I can buy crypto, and then I can buy stocks, and that stocks can pay me dividends. And before I know it, I can have 9 to 10 different streams of income that all came from one source. So now in the future, if I want to trade, I can. If I don't want to, I don't have to. If I want to work, I can. If I don't want to, I don't have to. And that's simply what being able to diversify allows you to do. Now you may be asking yourself, well, RD, I can do that currently on my 9 to 5. Great, why haven't you done it yet? Right? Or great, why hasn't it gotten you to the point you want to be yet? So it allows for multiple streams, which is amazing, which is perfect, which is exactly what we're looking for because multiple streams is what gets you closer to that goal. And that's really when you start to have money all over. Because when you have multiple streams, it's like everywhere you look, money is just coming at you. Money is just flowing to you. That's why when I meet very successful traders, and they may be killing it in the market, sure, but then it's like, okay, well, how many streams do you have? Are you just relying on trading to make money? Right? And sure, trading makes you a lot of money, but just think about how much money you would make if you let the money you make money for you. And then the money that makes, let that make money. And you're going to start to see how having these multiple streams of income won't just make you rich, how trading won't just make you rich, but it can make you wealthy. It can bring you to a whole nother stratosphere. Think about how Warren Buffett and all of these guys make so much money. Think about how somebody like Steve Ballmer made so much money. These guys invested in companies. These guys did real estate. These guys had all of these different streams of income. They did not rely on one source. That's why when I look at trading for investors, I don't look at trading from the standpoint of you making 10 million from trading. I look at trading from you being able to make, say, 1 million from trading and being able to put that million into other streams for those other streams to work for you while you're sleeping. And you will quickly see why working doesn't work and why working could never. But that's a realization that only you can come to because I cannot undo 35, 50, 60 years of knowledge, of beliefs that you have about life, about working, about jobs. I can't do that. It's something that only you can experience. But I promise you, once you experience it, you can never go back. And now let's get to step 6. Let's get to that step that I find, I wouldn't say the most important, because step 7 is that step where everything ties together. But getting to step 6, which is what I like to call the beauty, which out of all of the 5 steps we've gone through so far, in my opinion, step 6 is arguably the most important one we've done so far. And step 6 is what I like to call the beauty of more. And I call it a beauty because it is beautiful. It truly is beautiful. It's one of those things, it's like an opera song that is so beautiful that every time you hear it, you just go to tears because it's that beautiful. And the beauty is more. That's the word that the English dictionary loves. And if you live over in London, because I know I have some London fans over there, if you live over in London and you're listening to RD Trades, you love more over there too. It's not just an American thing, but the beauty of more. But what do I mean by the beauty of more? Let's go back to step 5. And we were talking about how the rich get richer. Why? Because they have multiple streams. They're not just relying on one thing making the money. They're not just relying on trading making the money. They're not just relying on these things, right? Look at Ray Dalio. Look at, I'm blanking on these guys' names, but look at the top hedge fund people, right? You will see that these people, they just don't own a hedge fund. They just don't trade in the market. But these people have real estate all over the world. These people have long-term stock positions over the world. These people have real estate. These people have so many different streams coming in. It's not just their business that they're relying on. Why? Because they're using their money to make money for them, or in other words, they're using leverage. They're using leverage. And that's why this limited equation that we had over in step 2 is so futile in accomplishing that goal of just financial freedom for you. Why? Because you are taking muscle with a ceiling, something limited with something limited. What do I mean by muscle with a ceiling? I mean, when you work a job, you are physically working your muscles, physically working your time for a limited ceiling. But when you start working your money for more money, now you're working something that can be limited, unlimited, for something else that's going to be unlimited. In other words, there's no cap to the amount of money you can make with trading. So if we know that there's no cap to amount of money we can make, we know that us making our money work for us, or making our money work for money, we're doing something that is one of the wonders of the world in the financial world. And that one thing is going to be called, let's go down here, leverage. Leverage is going to be that one thing that is the thing that takes you to the stratosphere. Why? Because you are no longer working muscle with muscle. Instead, you are doing leverage. Your money is making money for you. How? It all came from the one source, which is trading. So you're not relying on trading to get rich. You're relying on trading to provide you the funds to buy assets, to invest, in order to do leverage. And all leverage is your money working for money. Why do banks make so much money? Leveraged. They're going to take your money and they're going to lend out your money so that they can make money. In other words, money is making money. Why are you able to make so much money in stock options and Forex and all of these other industries? Why? Because you're able to take your money and leverage it for more money. Stock options is literally you saying, hey, I may not have the money to buy these 100 shares, but I want to trade these 100 shares as if I have them. So I'm going to pay you a token of what they may be worth. And in exchange, I'm going to have access, or I'm going to have the control, the buying power of 100 times this. Leverage. It can either make you a lot of money quickly or make you lose a lot of money quickly. That's why rich get richer, because they know how to leverage. They don't do the one-on-one. They don't do the manual working their time for money. because they understand the beauty of leverage and they understand that more means more. So more leverage means more money, but it can also mean more risk and more lost money. That's why you're investing. You need to make sure you're doing it correctly. That's why when you're leveraging, you need to make sure you have a plan and strategy and it's all correct. And when it's correct, when it's nice, when it's working well, it's beautiful and it's the beauty of more. That's how the rich get richer. That's how Donald Trump is rich. That's how all of these guys are rich. Why? They're using the bank's money, in other words, money that's not theirs. They leverage that money into assets, and those assets make the money. And with that money, they go buy more assets. And what are they doing? They're doing step 5. Where did they get that source? They could have got that source from a lot of places. But in other words, divesting, diversifying, and they're getting richer. And that's the beauty of leverage. And that's the beauty of trading is the leverage. You can enter into the stock options market, not have a lot of money, and make a lot of money simply because it's a leveraged market. 3x leverage ETFs is the same exact thing. Forex is the same exact thing. You're trading leverage. That's how small accounts can get big quickly. That's why you don't need $1 million to start trading, to start making substantial money from it. Why? Because of step 6, why the rich get richer and why they don't want you to do any of these steps, simply because they want to keep you working hard for them. But we already broke out of that fallacy. We're already past step 1 and step 2. But now that we understand the idea and the principle of leverage, now ask yourself, because I know you're asking yourself, you're like, RD, well, look, we already went over 6 steps, right? I know, okay, there's a fallacy between a 9 to 5. There's a ceiling and there's time associated with it. Trading is exponential. There is an inefficiency of work, but there is an efficiency that happens in trading if I'm trading correctly. And my time, my life is not wasted, but I'm able to efficiently get in and get out, do what I want to do outside of that, spend time with my kids, beautiful, cool. And it allows me to be able to have the multiple streams of income that allows you to be able to accomplish and grab that dream, that goal, that 100K month, whatever. And the beauty of trading is the aspect of leverage. You don't need to have $1 million to start. But what's step 7? This guy down here, I know we forgot about him, but why is this step the one step that everything else relies on? Because understand what we have here. We have a whole lot of steps, but we don't have any implementation. How can we implement these steps? And it's very simple. In order for trading to work towards that 100K month, that 500K month, whatever that number is, it really doesn't matter because we know that trading is exponential. The thing that all of this rides on, step 7, is going to be something very simple. System. You have to create, you have to adopt a system. What do I mean by system if you're new? System is literally just taking your strategy plus great psychology plus execution method and being able to have that thing. What is a thing? Being able to have that system that you repeat over and over and over until you have whatever you want to desire in the market. That's what a system is. And you may be asking, well, why can't I just trade a strategy? Well, you can trade a strategy, but the issue with the strategy is that strategy is always going to cause emotions to come up in the market. And whenever you have emotions to appear in the market, then you can never trade efficiently. Going back up to our guy up here, you can never trade efficiently because you're always going to be getting out too early, getting in too early, becoming undisciplined, letting your personal life bleed into your trading life. So you're going to start over leveraging. You're going to start getting frustrated. You're going to start doing all of these things and your trading is never going to be consistent. You may make money 1 month. You may make money 6 months, but you can't do it year after year after year, which is required for you to actually start making a lot of money and shift over into this right side. That's why a system is that repeatable thing that you're going to do over and over. I like to say it just like this to traders. Imagine that you went to a vending machine and every time you put $1 in, you got $2 out. Every time you put $1 in, you got 5 out. Every time you put $1 in, you got $1.50 out. It doesn't matter what that number is, as long as you know every time I put $1 in, I'm gonna get $2 out. Guess what? You're gonna keep repeating that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And as long as you stay consistent in executing it, you're going to not have a money problem. Because if you have a money problem, it's only because you haven't executed that system enough. And that's exactly what systems do in trading. So a lot of traders ask, RD, what's the reason why I haven't been profitable with this strategy? A whole bunch of people have come through this community, traded the exact strategy I have, and they found success and I haven't. Two things. One, you see the success that they're showing, but you don't know how long lived it'll be. A. B, because you're trading a system instead of having a flawless and consistent method to execute a strategy that has an edge, which is in the form of a system. And I teach traders exactly how to create a system, just like I've created a system that can consistently bring you income. Now, you're trading a market. So there's going to be days you win, there's going to be days you lose, but I'm interested in overall how we can start getting trading to work for us, since we know working doesn't work. So if you're interested in learning a system, if you're interested in being able to take that strategy that you haven't been able to be consistent with, make sure it has an edge, and actually start being able to profit from this market, right? To start moving over to this right side, then I really invite you to start joining our calls so you can start to figure out how you can do this. But regardless, if you look at these 7 steps, if you follow these 7 steps, then you quickly will understand how working doesn't work, why trading does, and how we can make that shift needed so that we can not just go to this right side, but how we can stay there. This is RD Trades, and I'm out.